The lead singer of a metal band goes missing in the woods, and the mushrooms there might have something to say about it. The book we're going to talk about today is called The Midnight Muse by Jo Kaplan. This is a book I randomly stumbled upon. And I've kind of been on a kick of like reading like horror books that have like a musical theme to them. So this follows the story of this band called Queen Carrion, and they were a metal band. Bryn was the name of the lead singer. She'd gone to the woods because she claimed that she was seeking inspiration there. She wanted to be kind of by herself to try and commune with who she considered her muse, which is this Queen Carrion. She goes out there because she's trying to write the final song for their album called The Orchid. And they have all the songs except for this final one. And it just hasn't been coming to her. And she's like, okay, if I go out here, maybe I'll find that inspiration. As she goes to the woods, she disappears and no one ever finds her. No body has been found. She's just basically missing. And so her bandmates, a year later, they go and they stay in this cabin in the woods. And her one bandmate, the drummer, Harlow, her and Bryn were best friends since they were kids growing up, and they've been through so much stuff together, and Harlow is like determined to search and find her, and she has been searching for her. And so they go to this weird cabin that one of the bandmates, Reese, his girlfriend, Jacqueline, she had found it through Airbnb. It's kind of like this off the beaten path, rickety old cabin. You know, it's kind of like mold in the corners and stuff. They want to go out there and kind of, remember their singer, but also I think they're there for a bunch of different reasons. So Harlow, she wants to keep searching for Bryn because she thinks she's still out there somewhere. And then you have Reese, who wants to talk to the band about, hey, maybe it's time we move on and find a new lead singer for our band, because we were doing pretty good. They have kind of like a cult following for their band. And there was also something really weird that happened at this one club that they had played called the Wonder Room. When they had played this one song called Midnight Ritual, the lights all went out. And at this moment in time, it seemed like they were nowhere. They were outside of time. It felt like they were all being buried, everyone in that room. And then when the lights came on, there was like a mass hysteria and panic. 6 people were injured and 1 person actually died at their concert. And this was before the singer went missing. And it seems like there's an element to the songs almost being like spells. Okay, so then you have the other band members too. You have Wendy, who is the cello player in the metal band, and then Thorn. Thorn is Harlow's brother. Reese's lead guitar. So you have all the band members there, and they're all there kind of like for different reasons. I think most of them are there just to remember Bryn. So they go there, they pack a bunch of booze, mushrooms, food, and so when they get there the first night, there's drinking, there's music, there's bonfires. Some of them take mushrooms and some of them don't. Reese is trying to figure out how to bring up that he wants Jacqueline, his girlfriend, to be like the new singer of the band. She's always hanging out, and a lot of the other bandmates don't really like her, and she's always singing their songs and whatnot. And he wanted to like broach the subject. Things don't go how he planned. But also, too, in this cabin, when they're in there, they discover under this rug there's like a trapdoor. And when they go down there, they find there's like this weird tunnel that seems to go on for a long way. And then they almost like hear maybe a voice or something down there. That first night, Reese gets all pissed off because he thinks like Jacqueline screwed up the singing when he brings up the subject matter of having her like sing for the band. And Harlow's a definite no. And then Wendy's kind of like, I don't really know about all this, because she's thinking about, she wants to go be a studio musician, move out to LA and kind of like, move on and move away from this, since their singer has gone missing for so long, because it's been a year. Like, they don't really think she's coming back. And so Reese gets all pissed off and he goes and storms off into the woods and he gets lost. But then he finds something out there, something very unexpected. He has an encounter. When the encounter is over, there's like what looks like a dead body there. And he's what just happened? What the F? And he's sick, and then he's still kind of lost. And then the rest of the bandmates and stuff go looking for him. Eventually they do find him, but he's like all jacked up when he gets back. Like, he's not looking good. He's all gray. And then the next day he wakes up and he's vomiting up like black tarry substance, and he smells like he's rotting. They're like, what happened to you? And he won't really talk about it, but he thinks he saw Bryn. And then Jacqueline thought she heard her. And then the others slowly start to like hear her voice. As Reese gets worse and worse, at some point he like doesn't seem to be himself. Like, something might be inside him. he goes down in the trap door and goes in the tunnel, and Jacqueline's like, what the F, babe, dude, what are you doing down there? And he's like, this will make me better. And he goes into the tunnel and he starts eating this like weird fuzz off the wall. And she's like, what the F? And stuff quickly gets weirder and weirder. You get some of like in between chapters, there's like all these like news stories that were written about the band. And then you get flashbacks too between the bandmates and their relationships with Bryn and the different dynamics they had, and Harlow and her not being willing to let go of Bryn. And she's also a raging alcoholic, and her being very adamant about not replacing Bryn. As stuff gets all effed up and weird, like Reese obviously encountered something and he's all jacked up. Is this going to spread to the other bandmates? Is something coming after them? Is Bryn still out there? Is she a ghost? What is happening? And then you also get into this weird thing about there's this rumor or urban legend about this institute called the Volker Institute that used to do research on different weird paranormal like happenstances, and that might exist out there, but it was abandoned years ago, and this, that, and the other. So like this whole area seems like there's some weird stuff going on. It's dark, it's disturbing, it's musical, it's eerie, it's visceral, it's messed up, it's gross, it's a lot of things. I really liked the pace of the story. Like, it moves along nicely. It's a great musical horror. I recently did a video that was like horror for music lovers, and had I read this book before, I would have absolutely added this to the list because it's awesome. Mushrooms are weird, people, especially when they're in horror. What do you call it? Sporror? Because, spores. Now they spread. Oh, yeah. And then they also, when they're out there in the woods, they see some people who are out there with gas masks on. So why are they wearing gas masks? I mean, mushrooms spread by spore, so sometimes that floats up into the air. Can they avoid all being infected with the mushrooms and going crazy or whatever happens? It is a delectably dark and deranged story. If any of that sounds good to you, definitely check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.